Have you ever stayed in a relationship, a friendship, or even a family dynamic, knowing deep down something felt wrong, yet you stayed anyway? You told yourself, maybe it's just how they are, or I'm overthinking. Wait a minute, what if you're not overthinking? What if Carl Jung was right and the things we tolerate in silence shape the very fate we're trying to avoid? Today, we explore 10 toxic behaviors that Jung would urge you to never accept. Because each one isn't just harmful, it disconnects you from yourself. 1. Guilt tripping. Disguised as love, sometimes people make you feel bad for expressing your needs, and they do it so subtly that it seems like concern. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you," or "I guess my feelings don't matter." This emotional manipulation masquerades as love, and according to Jung, when we deny our inner truth, we begin to suffer. And that suffering often begins when others distort our emotional compass. Guilt tripping erodes clarity. Instead of feeling secure, you tiptoe around your truth. Over time, you become unsure of your needs, afraid to speak them aloud. Real love, on the other hand, nurtures vulnerability. If you're constantly apologizing just for existing authentically, take a step back. That's not love. That's control cloaked in concern. 2. Cruel honesty that hurts more than helps. You may have heard someone say, "I'm just being honest," right after delivering a blow masked as truth. Honesty, while essential, should never be weaponized. Jung believed that true connection requires affirmation, not erosion. When feedback is constant and cutting, it often signals a need to dominate, not communicate. It chips away at your sense of worth. A healthy expression of truth comes with compassion. When criticism starts to eclipse kindness, something deeper is off balance. 3. Controlling you in the name of care. I'm doing this because I care about you. Sounds comforting, right? But when those words accompany restrictions, demands, or guilt, it's control, not care. Jung referred to such behaviors as manifestations of the shadow self-seeking power over others. Genuine care empowers autonomy. It doesn't dictate your path, but supports you in walking it. When your choices are questioned at every turn and your freedom becomes conditional, what remains isn't connection, it's captivity. 4. Gaslighting, making you doubt your reality. Gaslighting is insidious. It can sound like you're imagining things, or that never happened even when your memory is clear. According to Jung, what we do not make conscious will rule our lives. Gaslighting thrives in the shadows of unconsciousness. It makes you question your thoughts, your memory, and even your sanity. You're not overly sensitive. You're being dismissed. Healing begins when you reclaim your perception, when you no longer seek external validation for your internal truth. 5. Dismissing your feelings or dreams. Have you ever shared something vulnerable only to be laughed at or met with indifference? That's not tough love, that's suppression. Jung emphasized the need for authenticity. If you're silencing your dreams just to maintain peace, you're not being accepted, you're being edited. A space where your emotions are met with disdain is not a space where growth can thrive. Everyone deserves to be seen, to be heard, and to be held in their truth. The absence of that is a quiet erosion of spirit. 6. Ignoring your pain or needs. Empathy is not optional in close relationships. It's the foundation. When your pain is brushed off or your needs are seen as burdensome, what you're experiencing is emotional neglect. Jung spoke to the necessity of connection rooted in presence. Without empathy, intimacy becomes a performance. Over time, you learn to silence your needs in order to survive. But love is meant to be a refuge, not a rehearsal of resilience. 7. Saying sorry but never changing apologies should be doorways to transformation. But when someone repeatedly says, "I'm sorry," with no change in behavior, it ceases to be accountability. It becomes manipulation. Jung encouraged us to observe patterns, not promises. If someone continues to cross the same lines, what they're offering isn't remorse, it's routine. True care requires effort, not excuses. 8. Being selfish and calling it independence. There's a difference between being independent and being emotionally unavailable. When someone uses independence to justify detachment or dismissal, what they're practicing isn't freedom, it's avoidance. Jung warned against imbalances in relational dynamics. Real independence enhances connection. It doesn't replace it. If you're carrying the emotional load alone, that's not partnership, that's imbalance. 9. Using sarcasm to tear you down. Sarcasm can be witty, even bonding, but not when it becomes a tool to disguise cruelty. When someone uses jokes to belittle or criticize, they're not being funny, they're being hurtful. Jung taught that the unconscious often reveals itself through projection. Sarcasm can be a way to offload internal conflict onto others. Don't mistake mockery for humor. Your sensitivity isn't the problem. Their lack of awareness is. Before we dive into the 10th trait, if any part of this resonated with you, consider giving it a like. It helps us reach others who might need this message too. And if you know someone who's silently enduring these patterns, sharing this could be a quiet lifeline. 10. Shutting you out to control. The silent treatment isn't maturity, it's manipulation. Emotional withdrawal as punishment reflects a desire to control through fear. Jung saw such behaviors as emotional regression, an attempt to dominate rather than dialogue. When love is withheld to enforce submission, it's not love at all. True connection remains open even in conflict. Emotional distance used as a tool is never the answer. Lastly, if you're drawn to deeper, honest conversations about emotional courage and healing, subscribing is a way to stay connected to a community that sees you and values the journey you're on. Recognizing these toxic patterns is not about judgment, it's about awareness. As Carl Jung taught, healing begins the moment we name things as they are. That clarity is the beginning of freedom. You're not too sensitive, you're not overthinking, you're waking up. And that's where real change begins.